Welcome back to our journey with TypeScript. Throughout this series, we have learned many powerful TypeScript concepts, variables and type definitions, how TypeScript ensures type safety, type interfaces and annotations, when to let TypeScript guess when to be explicit, interfaces versus type aliases, defining object shapes and relationships, function signatures, typing inputs and outputs, generics, creating reusable type-safe components, advanced types that are unions, intersections, map types, and conditionals, decorators, attaching behaviors to classes, methods, and properties, null safety, handling null and undefined gracefully. Let's see how real-world projects bring all these concepts together. Imagine you are a software engineer tasked with building a simple blog management system, and we have been specified with these requirements: create, read, update, and delete blog posts, user management with different roles, admin, editor, viewer, tags and categories for organizing posts, comments on posts with moderation, access control. Not everyone can edit every post. So let's begin. Yeah. So let us just create a file. Let's name this as blog.ts. Yeah. Let's start with the first one. That is, we have type definitions and interfaces. Let's define the interface for student. A student will have ID, which is of type number, then name, age is, let's not put optional over here. They will have an email, which is of string. They will have a roll number, which is a mandatory field, and they will have grades, which is also a number. It's an array. Let's check the next one, which is type aliases. Here, let's define a student input type, which will be omit student or the grades. Yeah. Let's define another one, which is our grade response, which will be having a success, which is of type Boolean, and it will have the data, which can be optional, of type number. It will have an error optional, which is of type string. Okay. Let's see enums now. So enums will have a enum for the letter grade. A, B, C. Yeah. Okay. We'll have enum for student status. Student status. Active, inactive. Yeah. Okay. Well, also define the union types now. So this is of type course result, which is of type either student or it is null. Type, let's add for validation of result, So this is either true or it's a string. Okay. Let's add decorators now. Yeah. Let's add this function log method, which will have a target method name. Instead of method name, let's put it as property key. Property key and descriptor, which is property descriptor. Yeah. This original method is the descriptor value. We will have descriptor dot value, which is a function asks an array. Hmm, I missed one. Okay, we'll do a console.log over here. Same method. This, yeah, third property key with arguments. We want JSON string file with argument. Okay, original dot apply this. Yeah, add a similar one. Let me just copy this to validate the input. Validate input. This will have target property key and property description. Original will be descriptor value. Here also it's the same. Yeah. Here we'll check if my arguments 0 is not there, then I need to throw a new error. Throw new error invalid input. Yeah. And I'll return this original one. Yeah. Let's define the abstract classes now. Abstract class. So abstract class person. It will have abstract get details, which is of type string. We will have protected format name of string. It will return string over here. Protected return name dot character at the first position dot to uppercase dot slice dot to lowercase. Yeah, we'll do this. Okay. Now we'll see classes with access modifiers. So we'll see classes with access modifiers. So that is, we'll see class student grade. Student grade manager. It will extend person. It will say private students. It will map number against the student. Let's define as new map. I define a protected department over here. I will have a school name. Let's add a generate method now. This will be public. T will be an array and it will return correction and item. Yes. Let's add conditional type pattern. use this. This will have object type T, and key is key of T extends T, key of T. Okay, now let's add validate input, also log method. Let's add a student over here. Add student. Input will be the student data, which is student input. Yeah. Let's close this method. Let's say constant student ID is start next ID plus plus is input. Grade is this stat student ID, and it will return the student. Yeah, I'll close this. Yes. Let's add another method. So this will have my log method. This will be add grade. This will have the student ID and a grade, which will be a grade response. If my grade is below 0 or grade is greater than 100, I will return success is false and grade must be between this. Let me, yeah, constant student. Let me get the student. We'll put the check over here. We'll do student grade dot push and return successful data, whatever is the grade. Yeah. Let's add another method with the log method. We'll do get student. We'll fetch the GPA this time. So that is the student ID, the grade response over here. We will fetch the student. If not student, then return the error that student is not found. If yeah, then return no grades available. Let's calculate the GPA. That is GPA equal to student dot grades dot reduce. Yeah, and we'll return this. We'll do data. We'll do the into 100 and divide by 100. This is for getting the GPA now. Let's write for the letter grade. This will be a function with union return type. Union return type. Which is number. It will be letter grade or null, or we can say invalid also. We'll say if it is this, if it is above 90, then it's A. Yeah. Else it is invalid. Yes. Let's get the student email now. Here we will use pick student mail, or it is null. Yeah. We'll do this. Constant student is, yeah, if not student, it will return null. Else it will return student dot email. Also, let's write a function to get all the students. Which is read only student array. It will return object dot freeze array. We'll write a function to calculate the average CGPA, which will be private function. We'll traverse through the students array now. Student dot grades dot len is greater than 0. Then constant GPA is this, and GPA's dot push is this. We'll also do this, yeah, return math dot raw, this one. We'll also add a override to get the details. Okay. We'll display the students now. We'll say console.log student list. This dot students dot for each student will display this. And grades. Yeah. We'll just show ID, name, and we won't show email. Show roll number. Yeah. ID, name, and grade. Okay. We'll close this over here. We'll display the statistics now. Let's display the statistics. So we'll have this statistics dot this dot get statistics. Okay. Yeah, we'll also add the get statistics method. We'll add it over here. Type record. Yeah. Okay. Now let me have my main function, which will have all my student data basically. So yeah, I have some data over here of students. So I'm calling my student grade manager over here. I'm adding a student to this. I'm doing the console log over here. And let me also call my main function now. Yeah, let me do yes. Yes. Oh, I have to also do one more change in ts config. I have to put that experimental decorators as true. In my ts config, I had to set this thing, the target as ES16 over here. Then this force consistent casing in file name, I have to set it as true. And for that, for using decorators, I had to set this experimental decorators as true over here. Yeah. And this is the file that we have created. Let me just run this now. Yeah. As you can see, the output. So it shows us all the students. Yeah. It shows us the student grade management, this console. It says adding these students over here. So these students are added. Then it shows us adding grades. So these grades are added for the students. Then it shows us the students. So with their ID, the name, and the grades. Then we called a GPA's function, and it shows us the GPA with arguments this. And it shows us that student 1 has scored 91, student 2 has scored 80. Then it shows us the letter grades also, that it is 95%, so A, then 78 is C, and 65 is D. Then it shows us student 1 email is this. Testing null safety is student not found. So there is a student who is not found over here. Then we have the statistics. So there are total 3 students. The grades total are 6 since each student has 2 grades. And the average GPA was this 79.83. And system info is the department, which is engineering, and school name, that is Tech Academy. And yeah, this is the end. That's it. You have now seen how every TypeScript concept works together in a real world application. You can see a snapshot on the screen that shows how we used all TypeScript concepts in building the block system. Same principles scale to million line code bases. You now understand TypeScript deeply. We will learn more about Merge Stack in the upcoming classes. Until then, keep coding, keep exploring. Thank you.